Today's video is going to be super short. I followed up with content creator East to get insight on whether Apocalymon really affected Magnamon X before it was restricted to 1. However, considering Apocalamon's restriction went into effect on January 5th, 2024, and BG16 dropped on December 22nd, 2023, you pretty much had 2 weeks to see if it'd be impactful. But according to East, because of its release at the tail end of the year, there weren't any events going on at that time, which means there is negligible data to observe. That being said, we agreed that Apocalymon just doesn't care. Apocalymon is a Digimon that once established, just sits there each turn and watches their opponent deck out. Magnamon X, while having protection, would likely be good against everything else, but Apocalymon decks would just deck them out. But during this conversation, East was curious on whether the West would get the same ruling updates they recently got. In my mind, I thought it was in regards to the new battle area rule changes, overflow rule changes, and rule check and simultaneous trigger changes. But I was wrong. There is actually one more rule that the East is switching things up with. According to the new rules that Google fantastically translated for me, if in a match a winner is not determined when the time limit expires, both players will lose the match. This is huge, considering that immediately this disincentivizes players to play security control or decks that tend to play the long game. But this also prompts several questions. Number 1. What would you categorize as determining a winner? Playing out all 3 games? Simply having more wins at the end of round time? Number 2. If you win game 1 and game 2 goes to a draw, does the player who won game 1 technically win, or is it because the fact 3 games weren't played out that it's a double loss? Number 3. If you win game 1 but don't even start game 2, is it a double loss? And number 4. How will players be able to push their opponents to play faster at this point? What constitutes officially slow play? The Digimon card game has already hit some road bumps throughout the years in regards to slow play. But in my opinion, even as a commentator, if I'm not the one who's playing, I can't complain about it. I leave the decisions on whether someone is slow playing or not completely to the players who are on screen. They know what is right and what is fair, and what the entire situation is. But to that end, with such a rule change in the East, do you think such a ruling may also arise for the West, to mitigate draws and again, disincentivize players to play security control? Or do you think that because Japan's format is best of 1, they want to further accelerate how long it takes the game to play out? Let me know your thoughts on this short topic, and I'll see you next week on a lot of videos. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.